Hey, I'm Marina.
And I'm Emily.
And I've seen everything in the Sex and the City empire 10,000 times.
And I'm starting fresh.
So I'll be woman-splaining the show.
And I'm along for the ride.
But there's a twist. We are starting with And Just Like That and working our way back to the beginning.
So in other words, we're watching it backwards and in high heels.
This is City and the Sex. I said I would start every episode with a sex noise, and that's what I'm doing. I keep to my promises.
Oh my god, I cannot believe you actually did that. That's so funny. So funny.
One of my defining traits is that I commit to the bit.
That is unfortunately true.
Unfortunately.
Like, Marina's bits are legally binding. This is the thing you just have to know when you are friends with her. All right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
This is going to happen. Dude, we have so many episodes to go. I cannot wait to hear what we're doing on episode, 100.
100, yeah. Well, actually, I can believe because I have a dynamic vocal range that can be used for your project. Okay, I'm done. That's it. Okay.
This is gonna be your weird voice narrator audiobook reel where it's I could do so many voices, and then it just does a montage of all of your sex noises from
100 different sex voices. We are on this episode, season 6, episode 4. Emily, what's your one word for this episode?
I think my one word is just condensed and hyphenated line. Who's protecting the president?
Yeah. Yep. Incredible. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, we will. But there's nothing else that this episode will be remembered forever for me for that.
My one word is silent rage.
Ooh.
A theme.
Okay, a theme.
A reoccurring theme.
We're so adult. We're mentioning reoccurring themes.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is where we pivot. So we tried to be a Joe Rogan podcast for a little bit and it didn't work out for us, sad. So now we're pivoting into being a therapy podcast, which also does well. And this is where I just wax poetic about psychological dynamics that I'm witnessing in myself and other people. And that's what makes us human, is that we all do that.
It's a completely valid human reaction.
Mm-hmm. And
it's just your emotions.
And I don't have any kind of degree or certification or actual knowledge, but I speak in a leading way of asking things that seem like questions. So I'm not really actually saying anything, but I am contributing to the dialogue.
Oh my God, that's so innovative. We're going to make so much money and so many views from this podcast. No one else has ever done that before.
No one else. That's
no
what
one
we're
has done
inventing.
That's so crazy and smart.
And also that better be successful, because if it's not, Emily and I are going to have to do ASMR while we review, and you don't want that. I don't want that. And you especially don't want that.
It will be put upon you, unfortunately. We won't want to do it, but we will have to.
I will tap glass with my fingernails, God damn it.
Just give me my sponsorship.
Don't make me do it. This episode is sponsored by nails.
It's where are we going to land here with ASMR? Nails.
Nails. Okay, well, this is the episode. The episode title is Pick a Little, Take a Little. I don't really get it, but
I don't get that either.
That's okay.
All right, I will keep thinking about that. I'll figure that out later. It's a reference we don't understand.
It must be a reference that we don't understand. And if we don't understand, the kids definitely don't understand.
Yeah, please.
In the dirt.
Read a book.
We open on Samantha vacuuming her apartment, which is such a strange image. To see any of these women doing chores is strange. Well, we learned she's not really cleaning the house because an intruder busts in, and it's intruder Smith Jared. And I absolutely adore the exchange that they have here, which is that he pushes her on the bed and he's like, shut the fuck up. And she's like, wow, you're actually like good at this. And then he's like, shut the fuck up. And then she like gets mad and she like flips him over and she's like, you shut the fuck up. And then you fuck me before my husband comes home. And then they roll off the bed and she makes like a woo sound as they like go off the bed. Incredible. I aspire to be like this.
I know. No notes. My God. They are the ideal, the pinnacle. Every scene with them in this whole episode is my delight. A winner. I'm just saying that up front because it's going to get really repetitive to get through this episode. But every time we get to Samantha, I'm going to be like, I love it. We stand. The goats.
So then we cut to Samantha at dinner with the girls and Berger, and she's telling them the whole ordeal and getting into it. And she's like, and then we fucked. I'm honestly pretty disappointed in everybody's reaction because everybody's reaction is kind of like, oh, okay. And I'm like, all of you are in unhealthy dynamics, and that's why you don't recognize that this is actually the best thing you could hope for. Therapy. I said we're a therapy podcast, and I stand by that.
Yeah,
I'm giving medical advice.
We are the most fucking aggressive therapy podcast you will find. Right? Oh my God, get their ass. Yes. Being all judgmental, please.
I'm rolling my eyes at the fact that they're all like, kind of like, okay. And Carrie, she goes, and that's Samantha to Berger. And I'm like,
I don't like that.
Prison.
I don't like that.
Prison time for all of you.
No, that's I don't like this behavior. It's unwashed behavior. I don't like this. It's like, I know that Samantha's going to be fine because Samantha has no shame and you cannot hurt her. But like, it's so rude to do that to your friend in front of other people, especially a person that she's meeting for the first time that night, and be like, and that's her. You know, it's such a mean girl thing of like, anyway, isn't she weird? We're all going to like laugh at her and her weirdness. Do you know what I mean? Like, she shared a funny sex story with you guys. What ungrateful, rude, mean girl behavior.
And it just like further confirms, like, and just like that, like, she's having fun. She's living life. She properly fucks off because you guys suck. And then you guys are just left sucking without her. Congrats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry about it.
Sorry about it.
God, get them. This whole episode is going to be get them and just us standing Samantha. Right.
Yes. I'm so happy to be here.
I know. Think of what we've been through, how far we've come.
My heart is warm.
Happy.
My heart is warm.
This is good. We are in a hot tub of this show now.
Mm-hmm. I'm healing my inner child via this scene. So, I also love to, like, then Charlotte even chimes in and is like, I don't know, violence against women is a real problem. I'm like, get out. This is the one time where I'm like, and the annoying is starting to creep in. Get the hell out.
Yeah, it's such an absurd reaction. There was a scene, actually. There's a moment where all four of them were walking down the street, and I had this weird, like, dazed epiphany. I swear I wasn't high or whatever. I just, like, all of a sudden was like, what if they're all figments of Carrie's imagination? And then I just, like, went down. I was like, it feels like Carrie's the main character, and they're all, like, the little voices on her shoulder, like her little council of elders, because all of them are kind of so absurd in their own plots. And I'm sure this will change when they get into the deeper stuff, but right now it's like Samantha on her misadventures, Charlotte on her Jewish misadventures, Miranda and her TiVo adventures. Like, they're not, like, real. And it was like, they all feel like not, like, figments. They're Carrie's split personalities that she consults about her dating life. And this was such a good scene of that, of, like, each girl had, like, a reaction. You know what I mean? Well, I think it's this, and I think it's this, and I think it's this. And Carrie's like, well, you're all wrong. It's this. And then they all giggle.
This is where we play the choir music, and I say that this podcast is over.
is over?
Because it's over. It's over because you achieved the nirvana of this show, which is that's exactly what the show is. It was originally about, it's like, I think in basis, and I'm totally going to butcher this, but it's like Jungian philosophy about ego, id, super id, or whatever. And like, obviously, Carrie's like the ego because it's like your personality battling with all these things, and Samantha's the id because that's like your like raw power and you're just like the raw chaos of like your unconscious. And I think Sarah Jessica Parker has spoken about how they thought the original ending of the show would be revealed that the three girls never existed and that they were all actually in Carrie's head. So be sure to like and subscribe. This is our last episode. It's been really good. 4 episodes in, and Emily already cracked the whole thing. I have nothing to reveal, so bye.
Play that music. I have broken free from the social experiment, the Stanford prison experiment I've been kept in to record this podcast and watch this backwards. I broke free. I solved the puzzle.
You're like in V for Vendetta when Natalie Portman like comes out and realizes that the prison was in the guy's house this whole time, and she's like, "What the fuck? That's
it's like you shaved
you.
me."
Mm-hmm.
That's me going, "Oh my God, Marina shaved me. I understand now." That is so. I'm
the Hugo Weaving of this dynamic for sure. Look into my eyes. I am absolutely the Hugo Weaving of this dynamic. I'm crazy, and I've got eyebrows like this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes, exactly. And you know that everyone knows exactly what you just did.
Oh yeah. The people can't see, but you know, I absolutely turned my eyebrow into a fucking triangle.
To a V, one would say.
One would say.
That's why he was cast. Oh my God.
Congratulations. It's over. This podcast is done. You're free.
I'm free. I can't believe it. Oh my God, Marina. I've solved. Thank you so much. I want to thank my mom. I want to thank my sister. She's always there for me. I want to thank everybody who's been with me on this journey.
Congrats.
Shout out to Mr. Big, the fucking weirdo.
I still don't know you.
I still don't know you. I don't know your deal at all. I don't understand you. I think you were fascinating. You were so strange. Shout out to Lily. I hate you. Oh, thank you, everyone. Good night. I'm also, after this, literally going to look up the thing you said about Sarah Jessica Parker and the Jungian, the his super ego. I'm so shook. I'm so happy. I'm so happy right now. I feel like I won a game.
Congratulations. You made it.
I feel like you have planned a scavenger hunt for me, like for my birthday, and I just got to the end of it and realized that the present was friendship.
Oh my God, am I crying? Baby, I had chills.
She's fanning herself. Okay. She's doing okay. You doing okay, girl? Hugo, stay with me.
I just I feel seen.
She's tearing up.
I feel that you complete me. And I have to own that. And as part of this therapy podcast, I can say that I can own that.
You can. This is a safe space.
Thank you. We are 10 minutes into this damn episode.
We just started. We're on like scene 1.
Okay.
This is a Sex and the City recap podcast. In case you're just tuning in.
If you're tuning in, yeah. But we go deeper. That's what makes us different. Where were we? The same scene we were in to begin with. So Samantha
Okay.
tells them all she's fucking Smith, Jared, and they all judge her like the fucking creeps that they fucking are. And then Berger closes it out by being like, I don't know, rape in any sexual situation's bad. And then they're like, ha 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 ha. And I'm like, exactly. Same.
I don't want to be at this table.
Then Samantha gets a call from Dr. Smith. She might have the mumps, and she runs off to the better life that she deserves. And as we get into these repetitive parts, I'd just like to say this whole Samantha Smith plot it's so many costumes, it's so many characters. It's giving the new Princess Peach game that just came out.
Oh my God.
Where she like unlocks different costumes and different levels, and then like you get like a new fighting power depending on like, you know, the sword Princess Peach like gets sword powers, and the baking Princess Peach like gets cake baking powers. And I want this video game. I want the video game that is Smith, Jared, and Samantha just in different costumes with different powers and different sexual hijinks. Why did nobody think of this? Call me. I'm available.
Call us, Nintendo. We know that this is your demographic.
We'll make it happen.
That's so genius. A dating sim, but instead of like you pick the person that you're dating and you like go through a plot, whatever, it is like your person, and then you're just doing different scenarios with this person.
And it like unlocks different dates that you go on with them. I mean,
genius.
Come on now.
I'm downloading that.
We're all downloading that, please.
Please.
Also, I mean, Smith, Princess Peach, hot blondes.
I mean, it writes itself.
It writes its fucking self. Okay. Miranda then starts sharing about how she's going on this date with this real estate guy. And she talks about how it was weird because he like walked her to her door but didn't kiss her, and so they're all kind of like over examining this. And she asks Berger for his advice, and he's like, do you really want my advice? And she's like, yes, I want a male perspective. And he says, he's just not that into you. And this is like a big like show moment. Do you know what I mean? The thing people talk about is like put in trailers about the show is like a clip that is Berger with his revelatory, he's just not that into you.
Is it? Okay, interesting.
I'd like to read a snippet from the Sex and the City Kiss and Tell show Bible book about this episode. This episode was written by Julie Rottenberg and Eliza Zaritsky, who are also EPs on And Just Like That and write most of the episodes of And Just Like That. So I'll leave you with that little horror. Elisa writes, one of our creative consultants on the show is Greg Behrendt. Apologies to this man. I do not know this man. I cannot pronounce his name. An LA comedian. When writers are in LA, he comes in once or twice a week and joins the discussion. He's a straight married guy. One day we were all sitting around doing our usual. We hadn't even started our day and we were chatting about the night before. One of the writers had gone on a date and wondered what it meant that the guy hadn't called yet. Where was he in his career? Did he seem happy? Someone turned to Greg and said, what do you think? You're a guy. And he just said, the dude is just not that into you. That prompted a feeding frenzy of questions. We probably spent hours on that. Highlight of this scene too is when Miranda says, I've spent a lifetime deciphering these mixed messages. And Carrie's like, I've made a career out of it. Incredible.
Like when I was first watching it and not really thinking too much about it, I was like, this is a funny sort of, hashtag girl behavior moment, is like all of them coming up with complicated excuses to like excuse his behavior. Maybe he's this and whatever they're doing the deciphering. Like that's women behavior, is like, I'm going to come up with a narrative that excuses this kind of rude thing a man did to me.
Yes, that is chief women behavior.
Right. I was like, thought that was very funny. And now with this quote you just read from the book and now that we're talking, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a thesis moment for the show. This is like big. I mean, no pun intended.
Hey.
I mean, huge.
Yeah. And I feel like it's honestly true.
Yeah, it
like
is.
Any guy I've interacted with who was like a bad texter ultimately wasn't very interested in me.
Yes, correct. Like this is actually genuinely huge. It's funny, but it's funny because it's real. This is relationships. 90% of relationship drama is women excusing that and guys actually being much more simple and being like, nah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Infuriating.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we're the ones in therapy. And
Therapy.
they haven't gotten there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how you get over this. Therapy.
I think Miranda even says that. She was like, I could have saved myself
hours of therapy. Yeah.
if you just told me that.
I feel like we are trending into making fun of therapy, and I want to say that we're not making fun of therapy. We're making fun of people who have turned a career out of speaking therapy speak with no actual degree or basis in therapeutic knowledge.
Yeah, be careful what's out there.
Be careful.
That's our Jim Camber disclaimer.
This is our PSA. 1-800-BETTER-HELP.
I am pro therapy, but careful what TikToks you're watching.
Skip right past. Go to the cute animal. Okay. So Carrie and Berger are talking post dinner, and he's like, I love your friend. Samantha's amazing. And Carrie's like, I think Samantha's amazing. And then she's like, what ice cream do you want? The fudgesicle or the Nutter Butter? And he's like, I want the Nutter Butter. And she's like, I wanted the fudgesicle. Oh my God, we're so perfect. It is hitting a point that is insane.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you how you feel about this. I will say, let me give my context. This is how this podcast works. Let me give my context of here's what it looks like to me coming backwards. This looks actually weirdly fantastic because Carrie's relationships I've seen so far have been either one episode long or an ex with a lot of baggage that has a lot of problems and a lot of question marks and mixed messages, shall we say, and a lot of stress. I think this might be the first time I have seen her in a relationship that has lasted more than one episode, and it's like not bigger Aiden. And both of those, I mean, she was happy with Aiden, but I feel like even episode 2 was big a mistake. You know, we haven't gotten to like there quite yet with him. So like this is weirdly refreshing, as annoying as they are, if that makes sense, because I've only seen her like tortured. Do you know what I'm saying?
It is nice to see her in love and happy because you're right. I don't think we ever really thought about it, but in retrospect, all the relationships that she has in And Just Like That seem really morose and kind of just like there. So I guess you're right. We've never seen her really lovey-dovey, so it is kind of nice. I think I don't want to give away too much. I just find that during the Berger period, she gets particularly annoying for me. And I recognize that that's a personal issue. And I recognize that, like my hero and God, Michael Jordan, I'm taking it personally. And I own that. I'm owning it. Do you see me owning it? But that's what I would say, I guess. It's personal.
That's interesting. That is really interesting. Also, another thing I want to add to the context is like, all of their characters are pretty vastly different than in Just Like That. So this is kind of my reference point.
To quote you, speak on it.
Yeah. Like, I don't really know what, like, normal Carrie is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the actual default Carrie is, because all I know is her sort of wistful, I guess my husband's dead. Like, that's the only Carrie that I know. So this doesn't strike me as, like, different. It's just this is Carrie.
Yeah. But anyway, they're crushing, and then Berger puts his hand over her mouth and says, stop, I'm going to say something to you, and I don't want you to say anything back. I love you. And he takes his hand off her mouth, and she's like, I love you too. And they are obsessed with the fact that they're in love with each other, and then they mack out. And then the next day, Charlotte and Carrie are talking about love and bonding about the fact that they're both so in love and everything's so perfect and nobody else understands the kind of love that they're in, all while they're at the deli because Charlotte is preparing for her first Shabbos as a Jew. So that's exciting. And she's cooking an entire traditional dinner for Harry to kind of commemorate her conversion to Judaism. And there's a cute moment here where they're like kind of riffing about their love, and then the guy behind the counter like shows Charlotte something, and she's like, listen, I said lean, and then like turns to like smile at Carrie like, aren't you so proud? We're edging into still, the questionable territory. We'll just let that one hang.
We don't know what to say about this. We just
No.
need to like notify people that we noticed it.
Call your relatives, call your friends,
Call your friends.
check in.
Mazel.
So Carrie's at home, like looking like a camp counselor. She's like wearing a puffy vest and like big shorts. It's such a strange outfit anyway.
Is this the weird tights? I have
Yes.
a note that's what are these tights? Okay, yeah. Where it's like a patch on her knee, so she just looks like she like scraped her knee. What is this?
I think it's like inspired by, you know how sometimes some suit jackets will have like elbow patches? I think that's the idea, but they've like put it on tights. It does not look good, and I'm sorry, but nobody above the age of 7 should be wearing white tights. It's banned.
Yeah, absolutely. That's also maybe what makes it weird is not only is there a patch on your knee, so it's dark and looks like a scratch on your knee, but it's like pink tights. It's like white tights. I totally agree.
It's not
absolutely
like
weird.
nude.
And she's going to get into it later in this episode about like other people's outfits, and I'm like, all right, darling. I know that like fashion's really important to her and she has a lot of opinions about it, but like you wore this.
Yeah.
You can't be like judgmental about other people's outfits.
This outfit really feels like a last minute pull where they're like, just slap it together. And it's like, she's like camp counselor on top and then professor knees on bottom. It's very strange.
Don't like it.
A fail, if you will. A flop. But Berger's new book, Hurricane Pandora, washes up. It's arrived at her door. He's written a nice little inscription on the front, which is like, I know you love me, but can you love this? And she just starts burning through the book. We cut to our favorite Princess Smith. This time, he's got no shirt on because he's a fake accountant. And he's telling Samantha that she owes money to the government because she has not paid her taxes. And I love the moment where she's like, what are you going to do? Take the shirt off my back? And then there's a pause. And then she whispers like, take the shirt off my back. And then they make out and I love it. And there's nothing wrong with it.
It's nothing but fun for both of them. Everyone's having a good time.
Carrie's reading the book. She gets to the end of the book and she loves it. Berger shows up and he's like so kind of nervous. And he's like, if you hate it, like, don't tell me. And she's like, I loved it. It was brilliant and you're brilliant. But she's kind of, high off the fact that they riff all the time and kind of poke fun at each other all the time. And she's like, I mean, the only thing I would say is that the main character is a New York woman and she wears a scrunchie. I mean, that's unbelievable. No woman wears a scrunchie.
Yeah, her delivery on scrunchie, her voice cracks like she screeches the word.
It is particularly cutting.
It's pretty grating, yeah. Like, I mean, he's also going to be a baby about it later, and I'll complain about that. But like, it's like mean. It's like he was riffing, but this happens. It's like when you have that rapport with someone, that kind of like fun riffing, flirting. There's always going to be that line that you cross, and you're like, ooh. And this is definitely that. It's pretty mean.
Not to get too personal, but I watched this episode and I was like cringing, holding on the armchair of my couch because I've been here. I've been here many times before. And especially coming from a culture of like poking fun or whatever. And, it can always cross a line. And maybe she shouldn't have screamed scrunchy, so loud. But he also is a big fucking baby about it.
Yeah.
As we will get
no
into.
one's in the right here. But he's going to be a baby. We will talk about
he
it.
absolutely shuts down. And he's like, I'm actually done talking about the book. Classic. Been there. That's been me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so real. I think we said that earlier. Berger is real.
Berger.
Like we know a Berger.
He is the realest, I would argue, character on this show. I've been him. You've been him. We have all dated him. Mm-hmm. He is a monster. So Carrie complains to Miranda about the fact that he totally shut down, and she feels guilty about bringing out what she calls her sassy horse. Love that. And, regrets making such a big deal about the scrunchie. And Miranda argues that, nitpicking is just part of a woman's nature. It's in our DNA to pick at people. I picked at Steve all the time about everything. And Carrie's basically like, you did pick at Steve? And she's like, well, now Debbie can pick at Steve instead of me. She's bitter. We get it.
Yeah. All right.
But she's also come to this Jesus awakening moment from Berger, because she's like, he has changed my life and I am born anew.
All right. It's confusing, I think, because their energy... and I don't mean this as necessarily a bad thing. I think her energy with Berger is really like first relationship energy. Mm-hmm. So it's like annoying in the way that like, yeah, this would be the way you are when you're like in love for the first time and you're crushing for the first time or whatever. But like, it's not the first time. I think that's why it's confusing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now she's going to be like, well, I have to change this about my personality. Okay. Okay.
So,
right.
In fact, Carrie meditates on nitpicking as she plucks her eyebrow on the nose symbolism.
And she says something weird here. I don't remember what the line was, but I think it needs a second draft. I don't remember what it was, but it's when she's plucking the eyebrows.
As she's plucking her eyebrows, it's like female gorillas pick bugs off of other gorillas to show their compassion.
Oh.
And it's
is that the definition of nitpicking?
I don't know if it's a definition of nitpicking, but it's getting at the source of, it is the thing that monkeys groom other monkeys as a sign of affection.
Okay. I see.
And so she's also the monkey because she's picking at her own eyebrow. The symbolism is like China symbolism here. It's not quite locking in the dismount.
I see what she was going for now, but yeah. All right.
And she wonders aloud an iconic rhetorical question. Are there times when the ladies should just shut the fuck up?
Wow.
I mean, obviously inspired by Smith Jared.
Oh. Thank you for making that connection.
It does aggressively come out of nowhere though, and you are kind of like, what the fuck?
I was like, yeah, this is when I was like, all right, Carrie, it wasn't that bad. Like, I know that he's going to be all, like, sullen and sour about this, but, like, wow. Now this makes sense. Now this is a Smith Jared. But I couldn't help but wonder, what if women should shut the fuck up?
Yeah, that is...
Wow.
You can't put that on a t-shirt, so it doesn't quite work. Strong. I feel like if I was a fan of Carrie and then I read this column and I read that, I'd be like, is she okay?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Cause like the narration is what is basically in the column, sort of. That's like the framing device or whatever. So yeah, it's like, you just turned to like, yay, it's Sunday. I get to read my like Carrie Bradshaw column. And I couldn't help but wonder, what if women shut the fuck up?
You're like, wow, okay, I guess I'll do the crossword instead.
Yeah, okay. And it's that picture from Sex and the City too, with her like with the tape over her face.
Yeah.
Okay. Crossword. Sudoku.
Yay!
New York Star.
Well, Charlotte's nailing a mezuzah to her door. Nice pivot. Good transition.
Good.
And her old woman neighbor comes out and is like, what's all this racket? And Charlotte says verbatim, hey, Mrs. whatever her name is, I'm a Jew now. How are you? And then the woman just backs away and closes the door.
It's so dumb and funny. I'm a Jew now. Wordlessly just exit.
I'm scared. Then we cut to another iconic scene of the show, which is that two young girls are chatting near Miranda, and it's so clear that they're having the conversation we've all had and the conversation we saw at the top of the show, which is one girl is saying to the other girl, like, no, he hasn't texted me back, but, he's been so busy. He's, like, repiping his house, and like his dog is having an issue. Like she just lists all these reasons, and the other girl's like, yeah, no, for sure. And Miranda's sitting there eating her salad for lunch, and she feels inspired to spread the word of Berger. And so she goes up to them and she says, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to tell you something that'll save you so much time. And the two girls like beam at her, being like, what is it, you know? And Miranda's like, he's just not that into you. Bye, and walks off. And I love the way that there's just this pause and the girls look at each other, and then the one goes, bitch.
Fantastic scene. Also, like, I think if I had watched this in isolation, I would have been, I hate cringe. I just like I can't watch it. I'm like, I get secondhand embarrassment too much. My palms get sweaty. It's a bad time. So like, I think if I watched this scene, I would have been gripping the edge of my seat like, oh, Miranda, don't do that. But I have been through and just like that. So I am toughened now in a bad way, where now I can handle Miranda making an ass of herself. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I can. This is what I know. It's like I can handle this now. I'm like, no, I was born in the fire. I was raised in it. That was good.
Thank you. Hire me today. No. Okay, quick tangent, and then I'll get back to this. But I just remember when that movie came out, and then every guy's party trick was to do a good Bane voice, was to be like, I was born. And then I would do mine, which is objectively good, and they would neg me. They'd be like, oh, and I'm like, don't even try and
men
fight.
Have no sense of humor. Please, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
They don't.
I'm sorry.
And my Bane has only aged better with time. Okay.
Yeah, it's only gotten more powerful.
Incredible.
All right,
Tom
these
Hardy,
loser
I'm
boys.
here.
They were getting ready to play checkers, but you're a grown ass woman who came here to play chess, and you're like, please, here's my Bane, and then they're all like, wow, I just got like cucked by this girl on her Bane impression,
shoved to the back of the class. What I'm trying to say is that when Miranda did this, I saluted.
Yeah, you're like, yes, I would.
I would. This would be me, unfortunately, and I would also be the two girls saying "fuck off." So women.
Our experiences are deep and complicated,
layered almost. Okay. Then we cut to Samantha at a bar in like a fully nude dress.
She's naked.
She's naked. She has like pasties almost, but I spent a long amount of time trying to figure out if her nipple was out or not, because for a second it looked like her nipple could have been out.
Yeah, it's like the nipples are bedazzled, which at this point I don't think that actually constitutes as like clothing.
Yeah. I mean,
those are just bedazzled nipples.
To be clear, she looks incredible. She's glowing, but also I don't know what I would think if I saw a woman dressed like this in public. I think I'd be stunned. I'd also like stand and clap, but I'd also be like, that is a courage I don't have.
I think the craziest thing about this scene is the way that she is sitting there and nobody else in the bar is even looking at her.
Yes, exactly. It's like somehow the spy outfit is more natural than this outfit, and like nobody's even looking twice. And I'm like, this woman's titties are out.
Yeah.
You can look. No, I'm just kidding.
And the blood.
Either way, she looks incredible, to be clear. And Smith Jared comes in. He's Detective Smith Jared.
I love it. He's Detective Smith Jared. I love it.
And we have a really intriguing moment because Samantha orders 2 martinis. And then he's like, I'm on the job. I'll have a seltzer. And she's like, you don't need to worry about working now. 2 martinis. And he's like, no, I'm in AA, Samantha. This is for real. And again, Smith Jared just doing the Lord's work, trying to crack into her and be like, I'm a human being and not a sex object. How revelatory to have that as a plot for a man.
I genuinely earth-shattering. This man is breaking all of the barriers. It's like when people are like, Sex in the City was barrier breaking, glass ceilings were broke. What they were really talking about was this scene. Was Jared being like, actually, I'm a human. I'm so glad that they got to like make up and talk later because I was like, oh God, if I was watching this and I was like, if this is the end of Smith Jarrett, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that
so
would be
mean.
That would be irredeemable.
So mean.
Thankfully, it is not.
Thank God. A terrible place to leave someone. Oh, you can't drink.
Bye.
Jesus Christ.
Yikes.
Leave him in his hat, his fedora.
Yikes. You're naked.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, we cut to Charlotte at home making her big trad wife meal for Harry, and Carrie and Miranda are helping out. Carrie makes the joke she's a regular Martha Jewett.
Again, we're just going to notify the audience that happens.
I'm just going to state that I see it, that I'm acknowledging it. I don't have the words to speak on it, but I will give it its voice. Okay, so essentially...
Our legal statement.
Jim Cramer just coming. Miranda basically starts injecting doubt into the relationship because, to be fair, Charlotte's going a little bonko at this point because she's like doodling his name, like Mrs. Charlotte York Goldenblatt in her books, which like that's
so
funny.
7th grade.
And that's cute.
Yeah.
But then we find out she's also already called venues to see their availability for a wedding later this year. Which Miranda retorts saying, do you even know this guy will marry you? Have you even had a conversation about it? And Charlotte's like, well, we don't necessarily have to speak on it all the time. Like, things can be said unsaid. And Miranda just kind of gives her judgmental glance. And it's clear that Charlotte is now anxious.
Mm-hmm. The seed has been planted.
The treacherous seed of doubt.
Debauchery.
Martha Jewett. It's awful.
Terrible.
I just feel like it's objectively awful.
I know. It's like we can't even really explain why we don't like it. We just don't like it.
I'm just, at every corner, I'm like, okay. So then we see Samantha dressed up as a spy, walking into a restaurant, ready to play Secret Service Sluts, as she calls it, with Smith Jarrett, which is incredible. My one ask of everyone listening to this podcast is that you play Secret Service Sluts with your partner, one night stand. It doesn't matter. I wish that for you, and I wish that for me, and we should all do this.
That is what this episode, our therapy podcast.
Mm-hmm. That's our takeaway advice for you listening. For you to have actionable change in your life.
Yes. Call to action.
To own your truth and to be a Secret Service slut with your loved one or a random person. We don't judge.
I do like your Malcolm Gladwell, like NPR therapist speak impressions, because whenever you do it, you like lean into the mic and then you lean back to nod and then you lean back in, and it's very good. I just want you to just be acknowledged because there's a good visual bit going and I need our audience to appreciate.
The secret to voice acting is being an actor. No.
Yeah.
The true truth is that when Samantha learned that Smith Jarrett was an actor and like groaned, I groaned out of the sheer embarrassment that I have been there because I have been Smith Jarrett in that position. That's all I'll say.
My poor mistreated actor. No, Marina.
Actors are the victims here. People need to stand up for them and stand right for them and support them in their journey.
Who will stand for them?
And I want my tea at exactly 72 degrees. Okay. But in the scene, it's very touching because he's like, I don't want to play Secret Service Sluts. I want to actually talk to you about like what happened the other night. And he really brings it down to reality. And he's like, I want to actually talk about who we are and who you are. And Samantha's like, I'm demanding, I'm stubborn, and I'm always right in work and in my life, and that's who I am. And he
He knocks it out of the park, what he says.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I know. I get that. It's cool.
Smith. I can't with him. I can't.
And then she's like, I don't want to learn about you. And he's like, well, I'll tell you one thing. She's like, what? He's like, my last name is Jared. And she's like, your name is Jared? And he's like, yup. And then they talk as each other, presumably for the rest of the night.
It's lovely. It's so good. It's everything I want from a plot is like goofy, ridiculous role playing, silly bits and puns and dirty speak and absurd situations. And then such a touching, genuinely lovely conversation and moment about like vulnerability. You know, it's like, I love it. I'm so happy. This is great. Everything about him is fantastic. Smith Jared Stan, you've got a new person in your corner. I'm on the boat. I'm on the train here.
Brene Brown would be proud.
She's clapping.
So then we cut to Carrie and Berger, and they meet up at a restaurant. And I'll note here that Carrie is wearing a ridiculous lily pad, like, fascinator headband. It is strange, but I will say the dress she's paired it with makes it look kind of normal, I would argue.
It's the kind of thing I feel like you'd wear to like a themed party.
Yes, exactly.
Which they are not at,
no.
To be clear. But I see the vision.
But they are in downtown Manhattan, and Berger spots a woman wearing a scrunchie. And he's like, oh, ho, ho, you said that no leading lady in New York City would wear a scrunchie. And boom, right there she is in a trendy restaurant. And Carrie kind of mutters under her breath, like, she's not from here. And he's like, what? And he goes up to her and he's like, ma'am, where in New York City are you from? And she's like, by golly gee, you thought I was from New York City? I'm from Georgia. She has the most ridiculous Southern accent. I don't know
so funny
where they found this woman.
So hard. Yeah.
Incredible. And
she's like, you hear that, Billy?
He thinks I'm from New York. Yeah, no, it's if I was from the South and I heard it, I'd be offended. Let me put it that way. And he is, and by he I mean Berger, is tore up.
He's destroyed. He's full. He's an emotional mess.
Finish him. He is just crying. Then we cut to what is secretly actually one of the funniest scenes in the whole episode, which is that Miranda is at dinner with this guy that Charlotte like linked her up with, and they're like laughing and having a good time, and they're walking out of an Indian restaurant. And then she's like, well, do you want to head back to my place? And he's like, well, I can't. I have to go home, but like I'd love to have another date. And Miranda, with her newfound enlightenment, is like, don't worry about it. I get it. Let's just be people here and just admit it. And he's like, I'm serious. Like, I do want to go on another date, but like, I do have to go. And she's like, come on, let's be adults. Let's face our feelings. And he just looks her directly in the eyes and says, I have diarrhea, and walks away.
This was a Marina joke. I did it. I was like, Marina, yeah, you would. I was like, Marina will be standing and clapping at that. This is written for Marina.
Somehow, like, first grader me put this joke in this episode. The fact that she doesn't date him because he got diarrhea from fucking spicy food is dark. I'll just say that. But truly, never would have thought I'd heard the word diarrhea. I love it. I love this man. Where is he now? Come on the pod.
Yeah, come on the pod. We use our IMDb Pro account to like find him and his agency. Come on the pod.
How do I even find him? Just Googling diarrhea man and hoping for the best?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's a good place to start. You should definitely do that. You should definitely put that into Google.
I'll do that. Truly best joke of the entire show, and just like that in the movie so far. I'll say it. You don't even have to ask me twice. I'll fucking say it.
It's one of those things that makes me giggle because it's funny, but also makes me giggle because I think about your reaction to it when you were watching it.
I was alone and laughing hard. Okay. Tell you right now, way to my heart, it's not food, it's diarrhea.
It's diarrhea.
So Carrie and Berger are at dinner, and she's like over complimenting the shit out of his book now. She's like, and this part was good, and this part was good. And you can tell he is angry because he's not saying anything.
If I were the actor in this scene, I think I would have a really good time because there is something inherently really funny about how absolutely miserable he looks. And I think his direction is like, eat sadly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, eat as sad as you can. And he's doing a great job, to his credit, is the way he sips the water, the way he tears up he's eating that up so sad. And she gets to be like, wow, oh, this was great. Like, this was like, I'm like, I recognize this, and this is like the fun theater game you would do in like 101, where it's like you're both at a restaurant and then your direction is like you're sad and you're happy, and then they just do that emotion at 200%.
Yeah, I love the way he like kind of like stabs the fork in the bread pudding, you know, like kind of aimless. Like you could just tell he's like thinking like, what am I? I'm nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's his like inner dialogue. Not to get too actory about it, but that's definitely on repeat. It's just, I am trash.
I am trash. Stabbing the pudding. This is my heart.
This is my heart. God.
He's the, you know, when I quote too much and I need to stop, but have you seen the meme of the Steve Harvey Family Feud clip where it's like the prompt was things a woman has like made a man want to do or like think about doing or something like that. It's like the guy hits the button first and he says something that's sort of innocuous. Not correct. Goes to the woman. She hits the buzzer and goes, kill myself.
Might not be up there, but I damn sure thought it a couple times. Yeah, my ex-wife, yes sirree, thought about killing myself.
That is the scene in meme form. Is that that and the Katy Perry? Like sometimes people ask you if you're okay.
You just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
That's him in the scene.
God. Everyone wants to say that you're fine and you're not fine.
They would never understand.
Sad music.
Well,
it's on my post-it note.
Then we cut to a heartbreaking scene, which is that, as planned, Charlotte surprises Harry with her Shabbos dinner, and it's perfect. And he's like, wow, I can't believe you made all of this for me. But he turns on the Mets sports game because apparently it's a very intense game. And Charlotte's like, can you turn that off? You know, I want to focus on the dinner. And he's like, okay, but he just mutes it. He doesn't turn it off fully. So we watch Charlotte do the whole Shabbos prayer with the veil on and the candles and the whole fucking bit. And the whole time he is watching the Mets over her shoulder. And then she sits down and she starts like pouring out her heart. She's like, I was thinking about blessings and I'm thinking about how you're such a blessing in my life. And as she looks at him, she notices that he's kind of like glancing off, and she turns and she realizes that the TV is in fact still on and not on mute. And she, what we would call in the therapeutic profession, goes on a spiral and is basically like, I gave up Christ for you and you can't even give up the Mets game. And Harry's like, is this going to be our life now forever? Oh, you didn't pick up the clothes? Well, I gave up Christ for you, you know, and you're going to basically guilt me about this forever. And she's like, I don't understand what's taking so long. Set the date. And he's like, what? And she's like, set the date. Set the date. Very Jerry Seinfeld. Sorry. And
yeah, thank you for that.
And she basically is like, just goes on a tirade about, when are you going to marry me? Do you know what we look like to other people? Do you know like how lucky you are to have me? What other people say? And Harry's basically like, you're crazy. You're talking crazy. I'm going to go. And ends on the note, I can't believe I bought a ring. Storms
Woof.
out.
The way I crumbled into a little ball, a matzo ball, if you will. Every beat of the scene is like harder to watch than the one before it, and you like see it coming. It's watching a train wreck. It really is. It's terrible.
But
it's
like,
horrendous.
In a good way. Where
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
I've been here. I've been both people. Very couples therapy on Showtime. Right? Like you can see that she like has this thing that's pent up that she hasn't gotten out. And she decides like now she's going to get it out while she's angry. And so it comes out in this like, you know, kind of hateful, hurtful way. And he's like kind of rude. You know, it was a little fucked, I think, to keep the Mets game on while she's like spent all day like working hard on this meal and converted to Judaism. Like, I know he's like, he's right in that she can't use that excuse forever, you know, but also she can use it now.
Right, in this moment. And we've jokingly defended the like watching Deadliest Catch in the bedroom thing.
We did.
Because it was like funny, but also because it was like not an important thing was happening. Like Carrie was like getting undressed for the night. You know what I mean? This is like very important. This is so meaningful. Even if he in his dumb guy ways is not thinking about how much labor went into the nice thing she's doing for him, which is very typical straight out behavior. The fact that it's even just, you should be so excited for her. Like, this was such a big hang up in the relationship, and now it's such an exciting evening that it really is like, it's pretty hurtful, honestly, to like leave that game on. I was pretty pissed at him. I was like, this actually sucks. And he has the nerve to like walk out, but she was mean. I mean, I kind of agree with what you're saying though. It's like, it's hard to watch, but in the way that like this should be versus, and just like that when things are hard to watch because like
no human being would behave like this.
Yes, exactly.
This is very human.
This is very real. This is very real.
Which is why I hate it and it's a monster. But that's like what And Just Like That is missing. That when they have the very few big scenes that they have that are kind of like dramatic set pieces like this work.
Yes. Agreed.
Well, crushing. We cut to Carrie and Berger walking home, and she's still over complimenting. She even then apologizes for the scrunchie comment. Like, she's really, you know, trying to get him to come back to life, and he totally is like, I'm gonna go home, actually I have to wake up early. And she's like, you're gonna do this to me? And he's like, yep, I am. And he turns around to walk off, and then she says, you know, we should really be able to talk and share, like when somebody is, you know, messing up or doing something dumb, like we should be able to talk and share and like work through that. And like, you know, if somebody's like doing something weird, like we should be able to highlight that. And he's like, oh yeah, well, hat watch, your tiny hat's disgusting.
I shouldn't have laughed. It's very mean, but because of our history with her hats, it was a little funny.
It was, I never felt more, I'm feeling very seen, very validated this episode.
Yeah, there was a
diarrhea
lot of Marina
to the hat
the
watch.
diarrhea.
I am like, how is Michael Patrick King of the past seeing future me? That is some X-Men shit right there.
That's next level. That is very impressive. I'll give him that.
I will give him that. He is slowly redeeming himself after all the terrible, terrible things we said about him. But basically, eventually, Berger chalks up and he's like, I just feel like a big fat failure. My book is ruined now because of the authenticity of the scrunchie. What am I supposed to do? Like, go back and fix my whole book? And she pulls the move that he pulled, which is that she covers his mouth with her hand and she says, stop. Your book is brilliant. I love it and I love you and you are sexy. And he's like, okay. And then presumably they go off to have sex after that.
This is what it's like to date a writer. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of, I'm sorry. It's like, it's exhausting. This is exhausting. This is why I was like, never. And never. It was like the amount of like, because you and I also are from like comedy theater backgrounds. So unfortunately, there are just like a lot of writers who like want you to read everything that they write, but also like will be crushed if you say anything that could be perceived as not overly flowery nice. So seeing his behavior, I was like, oh, I'm so triggered. I hate this. I hate this like specific brand of writer boy. And it is like, I don't know what you said before, Carrie is mean, but like, oh my God, he's so broken up about the scrunchie joke. All you're doing is just making her feel bad.
I mean, we did say he's a big baby, but also I'm realizing that basically what you're trying to tell me is that you would never date me, and I'm upset.
You are not a toxic writer, bro. You are a performer.
Try me.
You are a performer.
Now I'm gonna be passive aggressive. You finish the episode.
You should finish the episode in character as sad Berger punching into the bread pudding. Anyway, like and subscribe.
Well, we have a random scene of Charlotte at home just being sad. Great.
Yeah. Okay. R.I.P. Jesus.
And then we see presumably Carrie and Berger the next morning in the bathroom, and she's brushing her teeth, and he comes out wearing a scrunchie, and they're able to laugh. Hardy har 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 har. And that's it.
All right. I'm waiting. I'm very excited about Berger and how many opinions people have on him, but I don't want to know any of them yet. You know what I mean? I'm excited for whatever is coming because I know we'll have so much to talk about here.
It's really hard for me to be like constipated on the knowledge of this man, and I cannot wait until I can unleash it as full diarrhea.
I was thank you. There she is.
I'm back, baby.
That line. And on that note, I think we should change. What is our rose and thorn? Our thorn is like our diarrhea.
Our diarrhea. Well, as you said, we end our pep podcast the same way every time, and that is with our high and our low, our rose and our thorn. First, we'll start with our low. Emily, what was your diarrhea of this episode?
I think it was the Berger meeting where it's like in general was cute and was fine, but why were they so mean to Samantha? So uncalled for. Yeah, but otherwise I really didn't have a lot for this episode. It was like firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, this is a great one. I would say, I think my diarrhea is just Martha Jewett. I don't like it. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's I have no right to speak on it, but I didn't like hearing it. Okay. What was your Release the Kraken, your highlight of the episode?
Like I said, there's a lot to enjoy in this one, but it's got to be Smith Jared. Nothing to repeat here. It's just he's a delight. Everything about him is a delight.
What a guy.
His relationship with Samantha as her like foil to this is like excellent. I just want more of them.
More.
That's my note, is just you gave me the script and I write in big letters. More. Exclamation point.
I think my Release the Kraken is the two girls Miranda scene. Just the way that she goes, bitch, it makes me laugh every time. It shows the intergenerational humor in a way that is smart and not just like kids these days. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Fantastic.
That's a good one.
Fantastic.
That's a good one. And and I have to say, our bonus shared rose is the diarrhea, but we didn't do that because it was so obvious.
Because all know. If diarrhea is mentioned, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Well, that has been our podcast. We end on that note.
Marina's going to go to a doctor.
Yeah, I'm going to go to a doctor. Help me pay for my medical bills by liking, subscribing, and favoriting, and doing all the things, the 5 stars, recommending it to your family and to your friends. And, Listen, we all nitpick, and that's okay so long as you don't nitpick this podcast and you do the opposite, which is that you let us stay with our problems and keep going. I really don't know where that was leading me to, but I know where it's ending me to, which is that you need to put more work into this relationship. And that's my takeaway. So you do that while we work hard, and we'll see you next time. Bye.